Hello again, Squadron. This is Lieutenant Commander Mr. Everything coming at you with another tutorial video. Now, these videos are for the recent 3.0 update. What I've done is I've put the keyboard and mouse on the screen here so you can kind of see what I'm doing with the keyboard and the mouse. And this is the 3.0 key bindings for the Squadron. If you're not in the Squadron, or if you don't have your key bindings bound to our official 1st Naval Aerospace Squadron keys, then you might be a little confused, okay? But I'm basically going to go through the key bindings for the Squadron and basically go over why each of the keys are bound where they're at. Okay. The first one you noticed was I bound the numpad keys to signals that you might have or might give to your compatriots. Like, let's zoom this in a little bit. And back down so you can kind of see what's up. I'm going to do a little free look action here so you can kind of see. Okay, so and then we'll go over those keys as well. But all the emotes, not all the emotes, I just bound some emotes to the numpad. Like 8 is for the salute, but 5 is advance. 2 is halt. Okay, 2 is back, so it's halt. 5 is forward, so it's go forward. And then you've got the move left, move right, right? And then you've got yes and no. Right? So if somebody's asking you a question, you could reply with a yes, or you could reply with a no, or you could reply with stop, advance, left, right. It's sliding on the landing pad here in our training field. Once it gets to the little ridge right there, it should stop. Okay, so I rebound holster your weapon to guess which letter? H. Makes sense to me. Okay, I bound your weapons, right? 1 is your pistol, 2 is your rifle, 3 is your tertiary if you have a tertiary, 4 is your gadgets, right? Okay, let's put all the guns away by holstering them. Okay, now I'm going to go into first person. You change your view by using F4. There we go. That has not changed. Some keys are the same. I didn't want to, I mean, if they were logical, we went ahead and let them stay there. Okay, now you notice how I'm walking really slow. Whoops, I'm in 0G now. Okay, but you notice how I'm walking super slow. Well, you use your mouse wheel here to increase or decrease your walking speed. Right? So just walking. Now if I roll the wheel, I pick up my pace. Right? This is walking pace. Slow it down if you want to just be, you know, casual. Okay, it becomes super important when you're doing when you're trying to be stealthful. You don't want to be in a building running like this. I've tried this already at Port Korea. Your footsteps make not considerable amount of noise, but they do make some noise. But when you are minimal, like you're walking slow like this, or possibly even crouched, you make very little noise. Okay. So you're saying, well, how do you move, Mr. Everything? Of course, it's W, S, A, and D is your forwards, backwards, left, and right. Of course it is. Okay, so that's your forward, backwards, left, and right. And then, of course, you aim using your mouse. You fire using your mouse 1. You aim down sights using mouse 2. A lot of this you don't see any changes. right? If you're aiming down sights and it's a scope, then you would use your wheel here to increase or decrease your zoom. To go prone, I changed, okay, so when you're walking, space is jumping, well, almost space is going up, okay, because that applies to the ship as well. So space goes up and control goes down, right? So you have control to crouch, and then it's a toggle, so you're toggling your crouch, and you hit it again to stand up. Now if you double tap it, I changed it to crouch double tap. Now you're prone. If you want to get up, just hit control, you'll go into a crouch. Hit control again, you stand up. See, my hands aren't even having to move really. Now, from the prone, you can hit space because that is up, and you go to the full standing position. Okay? There you go. Okay, so you're cruising along, right? You're in a firefight, bam, 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 right? You need to reload because you don't want to sit there with 14 rounds in the magazine and 90 rounds on your hip. So you go to R. Does that sound familiar? R, reload. Your hand is right here. R is right there. You just pop it, boom. You've reloaded. Now, if you're already fully loaded and you hit R, you inspect your weapon. It's just an animation. All right, so, and then remember, holster is H. The H, right? 1 for your pistol. R for reload. Aim down sights. Fire. Right. Okay. If you want to hold your breath, you can hold the left shift. So when you're aiming down sights, with the pistol it's not too bad, but with the sniper rifle you'll notice that you go all over the place. And if you hold down your sights, hold down your shift, it only applies when you're aiming down sights. So there's a lot of keys that rely on the status of your character to activate. So like if I hit shift right now, it does not hold breath, it actually sprints. That's how you sprint. So while you're walking, if I hold shift, you notice I just start running like a madman, right? Okay. There's shift. There's no shift. There's shift. Okay. So, but when you're aiming down sights, which when you go to aim down sights and you press shift, you take a deep breath. You take a breath. And the reason why that is because your breathing is causing, you can't see my hands, your breathing causes your gun to go all over the place. But when you hold your breath, you're not breathing anymore, so your sights stay a little more steady. All right. Notice my hands are right here, not moving very far. Okay. Your mobi-glass. Of course, it's F1. I'm not going to change that. Oh, we're not in a situation that needs a mobi-glass. Okay, this is the Arena Commander leaderboard or scoreboard with the F1 key. But if you were out in the universe doing the thing, F1 is your mobi-glass. Throw item, that's G. So if you have something to throw, you press G. I don't have any grenades. So you would just press G, which is right here, G for grenade. And when we get into the ship and you compare these key bindings, they're going to be very, very similar. Okay, flashlight. Okay, you would think it would be F, right? You would think F with flashlight based on everything else I've done. No, because F is your interaction with the world. So F is the standard interact with every object, hold F down, click on things. So I'm not going to change that. I'm going to leave that on F. So a better button, how often do you turn your light on and off? Not often. So just reach over here, press L for light. And then you got a light. Let's sprint over here. You can see the outline of the light. And I turn it off. Okay, so that is L, light. Okay, if you're damaged, let's see, can I shoot myself in the foot? Nope, well, let me shoot myself in the foot. Okay, you just press X to heal, right? X is also something in flight that's different, but you'll never press X to heal while you're in the ship. So, like I said earlier, the character's situation will dictate what that letter does. Okay, so don't worry if one of your letters in on foot is similar to something in the ship, because you'll be in a different situation. Okay, if you have oxygen and you're running out of oxygen, you press B, bravo, to replenish your oxygen. Oh, melee attack. Remember I said left click is shooting, right click is aim down sights. The middle button, your mouse wheel, is actually a button that you press. That's a melee attack. You know, like if you had a knife or something, it would be a knife attack, or if you had a rifle, it would be a rifle butt. But yeah, pressing that button is a melee attack. Okay, so now let's go and get in the ship. And then I'll show you and talk to you about in-ship key bindings, how they're very similar. Look at what happened here with my ship. It just skidded across the floor. Okay, when you approach something, you can kind of see that little yellow outline. That's letting you know that that's an interactable item. And then when you press F, it should turn orange, giving you options. Well, I'm going to enter the pilot seat, of course. Okay, now here's the first key binding that I changed inside the ship. Getting your ship flight ready. Normally, you would press F and you would look down and hit flight ready. There's no problem with doing that. You can do that whenever you want. Or you can look down and you can hit power on, then you can come over here and go engine on, right? But there's a hotkey for flight ready. And I changed it to P, papa, for power.
Aegis combat assist activated.
Boom. Ready to go. Okay, so let's go up just a hair, or bump into something.
Launch complete.
There we go. Okay, so what you just saw was
Landing complete.
no landing. Let me get up and out of this so I don't get all that BS. Okay. Well, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the space bar. You saw that. I'm hitting the space bar to go up, just like I was jumping. Okay, so here I am, and I'm pressing space to jump. It jumps the ship straight up. Okay, let's get out away from this landing spot so it doesn't freak out. Okay, as you're probably already familiar with, I did not change the N. N is still landing mode. So it raises and lowers your landing gear, and holding it puts you in autopilot for auto landing. So I'm going to raise my gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Okay, and once you press it again,
Gear deployed.
you'll also notice the wings move in and out with your landing gear being deployed. With the saber, that's cool. Ready for atmospheric flight, or just ready for flight in general. And tucking the wings is great for carrier operations. Okay, so you got that. So N, and then if you wanted to land, you fly close enough to a landing pad that you have permission to land, and voila, you hit the autopilot and it lands. Okay, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay, so this also has not changed. I'm a mouse and keyboard for one thing. As you notice, keyboard, mouse. I'm flying with mouse and keyboard. you orient your ship with your mouse. Okay, up, down, left, and right. As yaw and pitch. You're watching me do it. All right? Okay, perfect. If you want to throttle forward, what do you do when you run forward? You press W. So guess what? When you want to run forward with your ship, you press W. You notice the throttle goes up if you want it to go all the way up. Now, I do believe that I changed max throttle to double tap W. Maybe it didn't work. Okay, maybe I haven't set that. But that's what I plan to do. I plan to set max throttle to double tap W, and I plan to set full stop to double tap S. Okay, so let's do that right now so you can see that. I go to escape, go to options. This is how you would rebind your keys. We go to key bindings. These are the default key bindings. Ignore these. We go to advanced control customization. Now, every little itty bitty thing here has some kind of, it's not just one long list. They break it down into chapters. But since I'm talking about flight movement, open that up. And then right here, it's throttle maximum, right? I want to do that. You see, Y says to double tap. So I press Y. It adds the double tap, and then I press W. Waiting, W. It's all those things. I don't care. Now it's W, double tap. Throttle down, we know it's S, but to throttle 0, I'm going to make that S, but I'm going to make it double tap. Okay? So then normally, once you get all your key bindings set up, you go to your control profiles and you save your control settings. And I have a control setting called 1NAS. I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to overwrite that one. 1NAS underscore official. Right. So now, in the ship, hopefully, when I double tap W, my throttle should jump to maximum. And look at that. And now I'm going to double tap S. 0. It's that easy to change key bindings, by the way. All right, so to exit the seat, you press X, or you can use your interaction mode, look towards your ladder, right? There should be an exit sign over here. In space, it's open canopy right there. That's just open, all that stuff. To exit, it might be right here in the center because I'm not landed. So I'm not going to be going for my ladder, which would be over here. I'm going to be going to 0G, so it would be right there. Or you can use X, because guess what? X, exit. Sounds good to me. Flight ready, cycle camera views. Okay, it's F4. It's F4 in everything. Right? All right. Now, free look is Z or Zulu or Z, which is right here. So while you're flying, right, you can press Z. You don't have to hold it, just press it. And now you can look around. You can do your thing. You're not in command of the ship. You're not flying it anymore. You are just looking around. That's one reason why I like a combination of a head tracker or a Oculus or something like that would be good, because then you could look around and fly. But right now, just Z lets you look around if you need to check things out. More importantly, when you're in the external view and you want to change your field of view, you go with Z, and then you can look around the ship up and down. Like I got my missile racks are open, you know. There we go. Hit Z again, and now I'm back in command of the ship. Okay, let's get inside. There we go. Okay, match velocity. Match velocity has actually been disabled normally, but what you can do is once you select a target, you can hit M to match velocity, like in the old versions of like 2.6 and before. What that means is your ship will try to, as the enemy throttles up or throttles down, your ship will also throttle up and throttle down. Decoupled. Okay, C is no longer decouple or coupling. C is now countermeasures. Okay, so we're not going to use C to decouple. So I thought of couple K. K is decoupled. There you go. That way I can throttle forward and then decouple and turn around. All right. Rolling. I didn't tell you this on the ground, but yes, rolling either to the right or to the left is Q and E. But that's also on ground. Maybe I'll step back and do that again. Strafe up, strafe down. Oh, strafe left and right. We got that. Just like when you're on the ground, strafing left and right, A and D. Now there is a strafe forward and backwards as opposed to throttling. Like right now I'm throttling up. If I was at 0 throttle or any throttle and I wanted to strafe backwards, you press Alt and S because S is backwards, right? Now I'm moving backwards. And if I want to move forward, I just go Alt W and it thrusts me forward. You notice my throttle is still set at 0. Quantum is B. Quantum is still B, just like it is in 3.0. B is oxygen when you're on your foot, because you're not going to jump into quantum when you're walking around a planet or a space station. Targeting, right? Targeting hostiles. T for hostiles. T for targets or tangos. U for friendlies. Y for cycle through your hostiles. So you got hostile targets, cycle through your hostile targets, friendlies. Okay, if you want to pin a target, it's R. So when you pin a target, later on, if you want to cycle through your pin targets, you could do that. Or it'll make it easier. Like what you should do is target like your escort vehicle, pin it, because then it'll always be locked pretty much. Okay, there's something called scanning mode, and then there's radar scan and some other pulse scan and tag target. I don't know what all that is, but I saw that in the Keybindings. That's going to be exciting when they actually implement that. Then we're going to talk about firing your weapons. Same thing. You're going to have 2 weapon groups. Fire 1 on mouse 1, fire 2 on mouse 2. Easy. If you want to get a missile lock, you tap the button, just like as if you did a melee attack, except it's a missile. You tap the middle mouse, and if you want to fire the missile, you press and hold the middle mouse, and then your missile will launch. Okay, countermeasures. We touched on a little bit. C is to launch countermeasures. Okay, V cycles your countermeasures. Okay, and you got 1 for Mobiglass, or in this case, the leaderboard. And then the ship has lights as well. They call them headlights. Guess what button it is? It's L. Not T. Where did somebody come up with T for lights or O for lights? It's L. Okay, so I'm going to maneuver over to one of these landing pads. Now this is not a lesson in flying. This is just telling you the different key bindings. You can experiment with them and see if you like this key binding or not. But we're going to stop right there, and I'm going to exit. I'm going to press X to exit. How about that? because now we're in our third status for your character, which is EVA, or extravehicular activity. This is when you are flying around, hovering in space, using your little thrusters to move. Okay, guess how you move? A, W, S, and D. W gets you going forward, S gets you going backwards, A goes straight you left, D straight you right. No difference. Guess what? If you want to go up, it's control. If you want to go down, I'm sorry, space. If you want to go down, it's control. No brainer. Those are all exactly the same. If you want to cycle your camera views, it's F4, just like when you're on foot. If you want to do a free look, it is Z. So press Z, and now I can look around. Press Z again, go back in. All right. If I want to roll, guess what? If I'm rolling left or right, just like my ship, I use Q and E. Okay. What else? Oh, if I want my boosters to go a little bit faster, I press the sprint button, which is shift. There we go. Let's roll the wheel up a little bit. Let's get moving. Okay. Okay, last thing I wanted to show you is the prone roll. I'm going to do it in a third person. There we go. And let's go prone. How do we get to prone? We double tap control. Okay. Let's pull a gun out. There we go. So, you know, we're doing the old crawling around, shooting people in the head with the pistol, right? Okay, great. I'm going to roll. Now I'm shooting towards my feet, right? Okay. Let go, roll back. Roll the other way. Okay. Let's see how that looks from first person. It's a little janky, but yeah. I'm shooting towards my feet, right? Let it go. Roll the other way. Oh, I just shot my ship. Okay. Let's stand up. Let's H holster our weapon. Let's do a little free look here so we can get a good look at us. All right, guys. Thank you for coming out and checking out this key binding tutorial. This will be part of our boot camp that new members of the squadron will have to go through and learn. And I'll see you next time.